July 7, 1937. Dawn breaks over the Marco Polo Bridge, just outside Beijing. The air hangs heavy with the scent of gunpowder and river mist, as Japanese soldiers of the Kwantung Army huddle in their forward positions, bayonets fixed, eyes scanning the shadowy Chinese lines across the span. A low rumble echoes, artillery. No, just the first trucks grinding up the dirt road behind them, laden with supplies for what they believe will be a swift occupation. Lieutenant Colonel Ichiro Tanaka leans against a sandbag, lighting a cigarette with steady hands, his uniform crisp despite the humidity. He smirks at his adjutant, Captain Hiroshi Nakamura, who's poring over a map under the flicker of a lantern. These Chinese bandits in rags, Tanaka scoffs, exhaling smoke that curls like a dragon in the dim light. We'll sweep them aside like dust. By week's end, Beijing will be ours. You can almost hear the condescension in their voices, feel the weight of imperial hubris pressing down like the summer heat. The Imperial Japanese Army, forged in the fires of modernization and victory over Russia 3 decades prior, views China not as a formidable foe but as a fractured giant ripe for conquest. General Yasuji Okamura, commanding the North China Area Army, shares this sentiment from his headquarters in Tianjin, where he dismisses reports of scattered resistances, peasant uprisings. His officers laugh openly in staff meetings. How could these ill-equipped farmers, armed with bolt-action rifles and homemade grenades, challenge the might of Japan's disciplined divisions? Okamura, a stern tactician with a mustache that hides his perpetual sneer, pores over intelligence briefs that paint the Chinese nationalists under Chiang Kai-shek as disorganized, their communist allies under Mao Zedong even more so. Ragtag bands hiding in hills, surviving on millet and ideology. But beneath the laughter lurks a dangerous underestimation. The Second Sino-Japanese War erupts not with grand battles but with this incident at the bridge, a skirmish that spirals into full invasion. Japanese troops, numbering in the tens of thousands, pour across the border, their Type 38 rifles and Type 11 machine guns barking in unison. Cities fall like dominoes. Beijing by late July, Shanghai after a bloody 3-month siege where rivers run red with the blood of 200,000 Chinese defenders. Okamura's men advance with mechanized precision, their Mitsubishi G3M bombers droning overhead, dropping payloads that shatter ancient walls and modern morale alike. In offices' tents, sake flows as toasts are raised to the China incident, a euphemism for what they see as a quick police action. The guerrillas. One major quips during a briefing, mimicking a farmer with a pitchfork. Laughter erupts again. They'll scatter at the first bayonet charge. Yet, in the vast countryside, something stirs. Mao Zedong, the shrewd communist leader with his piercing gaze and peasant roots, isn't planning set-piece battles. From his base in Yunnan, he preaches protracted warfare, a doctrine of hit-and-run tactics that turns China's endless landscapes into weapons. His 8th Route Army, clad in threadbare uniforms and fueled by revolutionary zeal, begins to melt into the villages. Peasants, once indifferent, now whisper secrets to these primitive bandits. A Japanese convoy rolls through a dusty valley in Hebei province, soldiers joking about the lack of resistance. Suddenly, the lead truck erupts in flames, a mine, buried under the road by unseen hands. Rifle fire cracks from the hills, picking off drivers and guards. The survivors rally, firing blindly into the brush, but the attackers vanish like ghosts. Back at base, the report is filed as an anomaly. Bandits, the officers mutter, chuckling to mask their unease. As the occupation spreads, arrogance blinds them further. Okamura implements the 3 alls policy, kill all, burn all, loot all, to crush resistance, but it backfires spectacularly. Villages razed to the ground only breed more fighters, families destroyed fuel endless vendettas. In the Taihang Mountains, communist guerrillas under Liu Bocheng sabotage rail lines, their dynamite charges time to derail ammunition trains in fiery spectacles that light up the night sky. Japanese patrols, once bold, now creep warily, their Arisaka rifles at the ready. But in high command, the mockery persists. General Shunroku Hata, overseeing operations, dismisses Mao's forces as irrelevant insects during a Tokyo briefing. His aides nod, maps showing vast swaths of pacified territory. What they don't see are the invisible networks, couriers on bicycles slipping through lines, intelligence flowing like underground rivers. The war drags into 1938, and the laughter begins to falter, ever so slightly. In Wuhan, the provisional capital, Chinese forces hold for months, but it's the rural ambushes that gnaw at supply lines. A platoon vanishes in Shaanxi province, bodies later found riddled with bullets, throats slit. Whispers spread among the ranks, these aren't bandits, they're shadows. Okamura, poring over casualty reports in his dimly lit command post, furrows his brow. But he shakes it off, ordering more reinforcements. After all, how could such primitives bog down an empire? And then, one fateful night in the summer of 1939, a major convoy heads toward the Yellow River, laden with fuel and artillery shells. The officers aboard joke about the ghost fighters. Little did they know, Mao's men wait in the reeds, fuses ready. What happens next would crack the facade of invincibility wide open.